In recent videos, we talked about core engagement and shoulder mobility. Today, we're going to start to talk about the active straight leg raise and why is it so important. Flexibility, maximum flexibility isn't necessarily the goal for everybody, but symmetrical flexibility is. If you can get so far down on one foot, but then when you get onto the other side, you barely can reach towards that toe, this could be a big indicator that something's happening within your core or within the lower legs. That could be causing a knee problem or a back problem, or it could make you prone to an injury, especially if you're starting to embark on fitness. So today we're going to look at how do we improve that hamstring flexibility. First things first, before you do this exercise or any of the shoulder mobility exercises I've talked in the past, you should see that first video about core engagement, because if you don't understand about how to breathe and how to do those exercises and you don't take those steps first, you're not going to get a whole lot out of this video. So we're going to talk about how to stretch correctly, especially at the hamstring. The majority of people, if I ask them, hey, do you have tight hamstrings? And they say yes, what you'll find out is that they don't actually have tight hamstrings, they have overstretched hamstrings. And the reason why that happens is because of sitting too much. They'll get a little bit too much anterior pelvic tilt, and we'll go over this in videos in the future just to have a clearer understanding of why and how that's affecting you. But today we're going to learn how to stretch those hamstrings properly. My last video I talked about neurotension, making sure that you don't have a lot of pressure on the spine, because that's going to be one of the biggest inhibitors to improving flexibility. So we're going to use a couple things today to make sure that my head is supported, and we're also going to do some things to make sure that my legs are supported, because you do not want to be stretching in a position like if you lay on your back and you're flat and all of a sudden your back is arched like this and your head's like this right here. That neurotension in the spine is going to limit and inhibit anything that you try to do from trying to improve mobility, especially at the hip, and bringing your legs up. Okay, so we're going to use the two foam rollers. You don't have to have those, you can actually have pillows. You're going to place your head on one of these, and you're going to place your feet on one of them. And right away, if you were one of the people in my little example a few minutes ago where you feel all kinds of pressure in your back, right away you're going to feel a lot less pressure in your back. We're going to bring our foot up. I have these bands. You don't need these big bands. You can actually do this with a towel, or you can even do it with a belt, okay? Or even a handle band. What I'm going to do is take my foot here and wrap this band around it one time, okay? I'm going to bring this up to the ceiling. Okay, and right away, I know I don't have tight hamstrings. I know I have tight calves. So when I get into this position, right away, as I pull that toe back with this band or the belt or whatever you're using, right away I can feel all that tension here in my calf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold both of these, and I'm just going to point that toe up and down 10 to 15 times. Okay, and as I'm doing this, I can feel the small of my back go down towards the ground. Now, you don't want to be pulling this up so high that the bottom leg comes off of here, or you start to feel that knee want to bend. You're actually creating tension on the spine, and you won't get anything as much out of the stretch. So after I do this right here, 10 to 15 times, and I feel that calf stretching, okay, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bend that knee just slightly and try to pull it back a little further. And as I do that, keeping my toe back, I'm going to lock out that knee again. Okay, notice how I keep my toe back, and right now I can really feel it in my calf, but now I'm starting to feel it come down into my hamstring a little bit. Okay, so you're going to do this lockout here about 8 to 10 times. Okay, as soon as you're done with this lockout, you're going to bring this down and right back up. You don't have to go crazy with it. As you advance, you can start to become a lot more dynamic and pull on that a lot harder, taking advantage of what's called the stretch shortening cycle of the muscle. So you're going to do this swing right here about 10 times, okay? After you've done that, to really kick it into overdrive, and this is actually after you've started to notice some improvements with it on both legs, you can start to bring up this other leg, pull this back as far as you can, and then slowly, don't let this leg move, but lower this one until you feel the support on the bottom, or the foam roller in my case, and bring it right back up to the top. And then you're gonna do this one. This is actually called a leg lowering hamstring stretch. This one, this one feels really good. And when you do this, you wanna make sure you keep the small of the back on the ground, okay? So when you're done, you're gonna go ahead and take this off. And I tell people, if you're using a band, always keep the loop. It's easier to put it on and off. And then you'll switch right over the other foot. I didn't go over this earlier, but if you want to make this more intense, wrap it up closer to the ball of the foot or towards the toes, okay? Your other leg is gonna go on the roller underneath you, and you're gonna go right back into it, pointing that toe up and down. You're gonna do this, like I said before, anywhere between, I mean, you can go as many as you want. I tell people anywhere between 10, 15 times. Just feeling a stretch. If it feels good, like I've said in the past, it's your body telling you something, keep doing it. And then bend your knee after you do that 10 to 12 times and lock it out. Bend that knee and lock it out, okay? Do this about 10 to 12 times. When you're done, keep the leg straight and pull it back 10 to 12 times. Now, if you're just starting this, go slow and controlled. But if you, like I said earlier, if you've been doing it for a while, you can really start to get dynamic with it, okay? So then, as soon as you've done that 10 to 12 times, this is for the advanced, okay? And as long as people don't have any lower back problems, you can start to take this leg right here, hold this hamstring stretch, and lower that opposite leg down to the support, and then right back up. The whole time, try to keep this leg as straight as possible, okay? As soon as you're done, you can sit back up, take the band off, and just for clarity, you can go ahead and you can do each one of those movements anywhere between 10 to 12 times. If you do it the first set and you notice some improvement to the second set, do it a third time. Stay tuned. I'm going to keep updating some of this stuff. We're going to go over even more advanced mobility exercises for the hamstrings. As I continue to update you guys and keep you engaged on some of the latest fitness trends, we're going to get more and more into how to move well before we move often. I really appreciate you watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, and more importantly, stay healthy.